If you've ever tried to garden in clay soil, you know the struggle. You dig into the ground, and instead of a welcoming bed for roots, you hit a dense slab that feels more like concrete than soil. Water pools instead of soaking in, roots twist and suffocate, and plants either grow stunted or simply die. Fertilizer barely makes a difference because the soil isn't the problem of nutrients, it's a problem of structure and biology. But what if there was a way to transform this heavy, lifeless clay into crumbly, fertile ground using nothing more than kitchen scraps? That's exactly what happened when banana peels were buried in clay soil. The change was far more dramatic than expected, and it revealed just how powerful the compost trench method can be for gardeners battling tough soil. Clay soil is made up of the smallest mineral particles which pack tightly together. This creates poor drainage, very little aeration, and compaction that roots can't easily penetrate. Clay holds nutrients well, but plants can't access them when oxygen and biological activity are missing. For many gardeners, the instinct is to dig in sand or dump on synthetic fertilizer, but honestly, these fixes don't solve the structural issue. Sand often creates cement-like conditions, and fertilizer in unamended clay, well, it just washes away or burns roots. What clay needs most is organic matter, not sprinkled on top but worked into its very structure where microbes, fungi, and earthworms can transform it from the inside out. Banana peels, rich in potassium, calcium, phosphorus, and natural sugars, make an excellent organic feedstock for this process. When banana peels are buried directly in clay soil, they begin breaking down within a few weeks. The sugars and soft tissue decompose quickly, attracting bacteria and fungi. These microbes release enzymes that not only digest the peels but also loosen the surrounding clay particles. Within about a month, the soil around the buried material becomes darker and more crumbly compared to untouched areas. As decomposition continues, earthworms are drawn to the zone, tunneling through clay that once seemed impenetrable. Their movement aerates the soil while their castings enrich it further. The surprising part is that the effect spreads beyond the immediate trench. Because microbes multiply and move outward, even the clay nearby starts showing improved texture. Over time, the banana peel trench becomes a vein of fertility, acting as both compost and soil conditioner in one simple step. So, the key to success wasn't just burying a single peel randomly, it was actually using the compost trench method. Instead of building a pile on the surface, you bury organic matter directly in the soil, in these narrow trenches or holes. Now, this method works particularly well in clay soil because the material decomposes right there in place, which, helps bypass that stubborn surface compaction problem. To do this in a home garden, you'll want to dig a trench about 8 to 10 inches deep and as wide as your spade. Then, place banana peels, kitchen scraps, or garden waste inside, layering them with a thin covering of soil as you go along. So, the ideal ratio here is about 1 part scraps to 3 parts soil. This balance really helps decomposition happen smoothly, without causing any foul odors or, attracting pests. Once your trench is filled, just cover it up completely, and leave it undisturbed for about 4 to 6 weeks before you plant anything above it. This gives the microbes plenty of time to break down those scraps into rich, humus-filled pockets of fertility. Gardeners often hear that banana peels are good for potassium, which is true, but honestly that's just part of their value. A single peel actually contains not just potassium but also calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus, all in slow-release forms. These nutrients go a long way to support root development, flowering, and overall plant resilience. Plus, the fibrous material in the peel feeds fungi, which play a really important role in restructuring clay. As fungal hyphae spread, they create these microscopic pathways through the dense soil, which really helps increase porosity. For example, in one 4x4-foot garden bed, burying the equivalent of 10 banana peels in trenches 2 feet apart created noticeable changes by the next season. Tomatoes planted directly above the decomposed trenches grew taller and showed stronger root systems compared to those in untreated clay just a few feet away. Start with a garden bed or row where you want to improve clay structure. Dig trenches in a grid-like pattern about 2 feet apart, running them the length of the bed. In each trench, place banana peels either whole or chopped for faster breakdown. Mix lightly with some of the removed soil and cover completely. For every foot of trench, 3 to 4 peels are enough. Adding more won't harm, but balance ensures smoother decomposition. If you're planting immediately, just keep the trench between rows so roots don't sit directly on undecomposed scraps. But if you can wait about a month, go ahead and plant directly above the trench once decomposition has advanced a bit. For ongoing improvement, rotate trench placement each season so the whole bed eventually benefits from that organic infusion. By the end of one growing season, areas treated with banana peel trenches no longer feel like slabs of pottery when dug into. Instead, the soil shows aggregates, small clumps that break apart easily in the hand. These aggregates are created by microbial glues and worm activity, both fueled by the buried peels. Water infiltration improves dramatically with rain soaking in rather than running off. Roots penetrate deeper, and crops like beans, peppers, and tomatoes establish faster in the improved zones. What shocks most gardeners is how fast the shift occurs. Clay soil that has resisted tilling and amendments for years can start behaving like workable loam within a single year when the compost trench method is applied consistently. The buried organic matter doesn't just feed plants, it reprograms the soil's biology and structure. While surface composting and mulching are valuable, clay often resists change unless organic matter is placed deeper. Rain and surface organisms can take years to move material down through dense clay layers. By burying banana peels and other scraps directly, you shortcut that slow migration and feed the soil where it struggles most, below the crust. This in-soil approach also conserves moisture, reduces odor, and avoids the need for turning piles, making it well-suited for gardeners who want results without high labor. The power of this method is not in a one-time trench, but in repetition. Each season, new trenches continue the process until the entire bed is riddled with organic, rich channels. These channels persist as humus even after the peels themselves are long gone. Over years, the result is a structural transformation of the entire soil profile. Clay becomes loam-like, retaining water while draining properly, and supporting a wide range of crops without constant external input. For instance, in a 3-year trial where banana peel trenches were rotated annually across a 10 by 10 foot plot, earthworm populations tripled, organic matter content rose from under 2% to over 5%, and previously stunted corn reached full height without synthetic fertilizer. This is the compounding effect of feeding the soil rather than just feeding plants. For gardeners struggling with clay, the solution doesn't come in a bag of fertilizer or a load of sand. It comes from putting life back into the soil where it matters most. Banana peels, when buried using the compost trench method, unlock a process that shifts heavy, compacted earth into fertile ground capable of supporting abundant growth. Start small, try it in one bed this season, and watch the transformation unfold. And if this guide has given you a practical path forward for your own garden, subscribe to Hydrohaven and share this video with others who are ready to turn even the toughest soil into thriving ground.